Yo, what's up? For the past couple weeks, I've been playing through Lies of P. Here are my thoughts, review, whatever you want to call it. The gameplay you're going to see in the background is me going back to the very start of the game using random weapons. I needed something for background, so I figured I'd go back and kill everything at the start just so I can avoid showing spoilers. Anyways, enjoy. I was super excited for this game when it got announced back in 2021. Me considering Bloodborne an absolute masterpiece, it was hard to not be excited for this game. I instantly pre-ordered it on PS5 when it was available. Then, almost a year ago now, the demo was released and, well, I wasn't really a fan of it. The way the starting weapons felt was not to my liking at all. I thought each of the weapons had a boring moveset. Which is ironic, because if you really think about it, almost every basic weapon in the series of Dark Souls is boring as fuck. I also thought each of the weapons felt unimpactful when landing hits. It felt like I was hitting a bag of sand instead of a robotic humanoid puppet. The great sword especially really annoyed me because I love my big weapons, but it felt the worst out of all of them. More on the weapons later though. Anyways, I ended up dropping the demo because I was just not feeling it, and before I start to get upset and start mindlessly bitching and nitpicking it, saying things like why didn't they just do this instead of that, I made the decision to drop the demo. I saw myself that I was just not giving it a fair chance, and I really wanted to like this game, but the demo was not it. Fast forward to now 6 or 7-ish months later, I finally came around to playing it again. Came in with no expectations and no knowledge about the game either, aside from what I experienced in the demo. I purposefully avoided everything about this, knowing full well that I'll probably play it again at some point. I started with the balanced starting weapon, thinking that I might want to try and give other weapons a shot, but I soon decided to go with an advanced build for my first playthrough, which is basically the arcane stat if you're coming from Bloodborne. Initially, I was basically feeling the way as I was back in the demo, but I kept playing because I didn't really have anything else to play. Games right now are kind of meh, so I said why not? Especially after me and the homies finished our Soulsborne co-op playthrough, I still had the itch to keep playing. I gave Great Swords another try at the start, but they still felt like shit. For one, they're super slow, and two, and this the real kicker here, there's absolutely no poise or hyper armor in this game, meaning you can get interrupted by everything. Even if some child threw his boogers at you, it's over. You're done.
そうなんだってよ。
思い込んだ上に曲がらねえこいつのタチの悪さはこんなもんじゃねえ。自分勝手さではすでに4校クラスと言える。
大変だそら。おい、鼻くそ飛んできたぞ、バカ野郎。はは、悪い。
So like I said, I decided to make an advanced build, and my god, this shit made everything a cakewalk for the most part. I basically ran through the entire game with just 2 weapons, the electric coil stick and the salamander dagger. In this game though, instead of having trick weapons like in Bloodborne, you can mix and match the blade of one weapon and the handle of another weapon. The handle will determine what moveset your new weapon will have, which can make for some interesting combination. I paired the blade of the salamander dagger, which is, well, a dagger, with the acidic crystal spear, and basically turned my little shank into a spear with farther reaching capabilities. Though I kept investing into advance, I came to realize that I haven't come across any advanced scaling boss weapons. And yeah, from what I looked up, there actually isn't one. Which is really disappointing considering I've come this whole way. And you can't mix and match boss weapons at all, so I'm kinda just stuck using normal stuff, but whatever I guess. As I kept progressing through each area of the game, I came to a realization that the game is slowly but surely turning my initial impression of the game around. Combat started feeling more fun, and having weapons that felt good and did great damage made my eyeballs open up, and I started seeing that this game might actually have some potential. Aesthetically, this game, just like Bloodborne, it hits in all the right spots for me. The dark and eerie atmosphere combined with a 50s, 60s steampunk aesthetic made me realize that they didn't just take inspiration from Bloodborne when coming up with the art style for this game, but they also took inspiration from BioShock. Also, maybe it's just me, but I also get Resident Evil 4 vibes in the later stages of the game. So if you like either of those games and the vibes they give, then I think you will enjoy yourself running through the areas in Lies of P. Around areas 8 or so of the game, I decided to respect my build entirely to a strength build and actually give Great Swords a proper chance. At this point in the game, I'm about 17 to 20 hours into it, and I've gotten the hang of the game, so I thought it was a good opportunity. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about it, because on one hand I wish you had just a tiny lick of hyper armor or poise, But on the other hand, some of these fable arts can be kind of crazy. Fable arts, by the way, yep, you probably guessed it. It's the Ashes of War if you're coming from Elden Ring, or weapon arts if you're coming from Dark Souls 3. Ultimately, I still think going with dexterity or an advanced build is the way to go in this game. The enemies in this game are kind of samey, especially within the first half of the game, but as you progress and as the story progresses, you start encountering different enemy types, which is a very welcoming change because you start developing a specific approach, and with the change in enemies, it spices up the game. The game actually starts ramping up its difficulty around Area 6 and onwards. Enemy placements gets more obnoxious, and the enemies that were once mini-bosses are now actually normal enemies. If you're the type of player who likes killing everything in the level for your first playthrough, like myself, you're going to have an adventurous time to say the least. At some point, I end up saying fuck it and just ran past everything. I've killed these guys enough times, I got my experience with them. I actually really like the bosses in Lies of P. All of them were actually pretty cool in terms of their designs, and their actual fights are pretty fun as well. It's funny because I actually had a much harder time with the mini bosses in this game than the actual boss of the level, which might come to a disappointment for some, but I don't mind it. I actually just remembered that I haven't talked about the bionic arm your character has.
Keep it basic, that's not gonna work.
That's too far.
Bionic arm! Bionic arm!
OTG, bionic arm, giving he has another chance.
He's done it! He's doing it! Bionic arm! Combo V! 3-0!
It's basically your prosthetic arm from Sekiro, serving as a different tool or weapon for your character and your playstyle. I gotta be honest though, I barely use this shit. There's definitely some benefits to be gained from using your arm, but I don't know. I just hardly used it. You can get a harpoon gun for it, a flamethrower, a rifle shot of sorts. There's a nice handful of options for your arm, but I guess I haven't found the right one for my specific playstyle. The soundtrack for this game is fantastic. The song feel is by far my favorite. Seo Jeon's voice is so beautiful.
Close your eyes, come to me, feel alright. Just dance with me all through the night. Turn it out.
The AI probably butchered the shit out of her name, but yeah. In this game, you can find records around the world, and once you have acquired a record, you can then play it at the main hub of the game and listen to it while you do what you need to do. If you haven't guessed it by now, I actually really like Lies of P. I think what really does it for me is the attention to detail. From the way the puppet's fingers move, which is easier seen at the hub, to the way they are interpreting the story of the classic Pinocchio story. The story itself is actually pretty interesting, and it had me invested more and more as I kept playing. And I don't think I can say more about the story without spoiling it, so I'm going to leave it at that. I think I basically covered everything I had to say about Lies of P. Overall, it's a great game and an amazing addition to the Souls-like genre. I think it's safe to say that it might actually be the best Soulslike out there. I haven't played the Lords of the Fallen remake, and maybe I might, but I don't know. The first game really left a terrible taste in my mouth. But that's a topic for another time. If you want me to play it and give my thoughts on it, let me know, and if there's enough recommendations, I'll play it. I think I'll give Lies of P a solid 8 out of 10. 0 being absolutely straight donkey penis doo-doo.
Don't turn me in. I'll never be stubborn again. I can change. Please give me another chance.
Oh, shut up.
Oh.
Next. What have you got? This little wooden puppet.
I'm not a puppet. I'm a real boy.
5 shillings for the possessed toy. Take it away.
Father, please. Don't let him do this.
Next.
Help
What have
me.
you got?
5 being straight in the middle, and 10 being as holy as the Bible. The game has its flaws, but it makes up for it with its gameplay mechanics, artistic direction, and story. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be playing next. It kind of depends on a few things. I kind of want to play the new next-gen update for Fallout 4, but it most likely be Stellar Blade. I haven't played the demo yet, but that game looks so godlike. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you guys want to hear my thoughts on other games, let me know. I generally play anything. I only play on the PS5, so whatever you suggest, make sure it's on there. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to hear more opinions from this mute in a wheelchair. And if you haven't already, check out my other videos where I give my thoughts on each of the Souls games, including Bloodborne and Elden Ring.